What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Last video I said I was gonna do a modern house. Actually, did I even say that? I'm not sure if I did, but anyways, basically today we're gonna be doing a modern house build through. So when it comes to this world, I'm pretty done with this world. I think I started playing Minecraft since the end of 2019, so it's been like a year and a half, and just look at everything that we've achieved for the last year and a half. Just look at all this stuff, from the shattered savannah to the Japanese base to the ravine to the mountain to the surroundings and everything. I'm pretty much done. I think there's only a few things left that I kind of want to work on in this world before I start taking a break from this project and working on something else. I do have something in mind over here on the left, but who knows. But basically today we're going to be working on the modern house. So at the end on this side of the mountain, it's pretty barren, as you can tell. It's all just a bunch of flowers. I kind of want to just top it off with a modern house project, because normally I don't really build a lot of houses. I'm not necessarily a very good Minecraft builder. I'm more of like a landscaping kind of guy. As you can tell, I like to make landscapes and stuff. But this time I really just wanted to make myself a nice modern house, and so this is the kind of patch of land that we're given. Not exactly very fitting. I think this side over here is actually a little bit better, but there's just a little bit more space here, and I kind of want to take advantage of this. So anyways, now I wanted this modern house to be like a truly good one, right? Like, I didn't want to just get in there and build a few rectangles, because I don't really know what I'm doing. I didn't want to just jump in and make some half-ass modern house. So I kind of took the time to make a few designs and sketches and stuff. I did a bunch of research and stuff like that. Alright, so during my initial planning, which is just pretty casual planning, I kind of laid out a few things that I would want in my modern house. I'm just going to show you guys what I wrote down, alright? So, let's see. So, some of the things I wanted for this modern house is that I wanted a hot tub, okay? These are like things I definitely want as part of the home. Now, so let's just jump right in. So, I want a hot tub, and then obviously I want a pool, and specifically an infinity pool. And I want a patio, not sure how many, but likely at least one, just kind of like a balcony slash patio space that you can just overlook into the distance, right? I want like a natural bamboo hallway, something that is like, I wanted like a green natural element that's kind of like in the middle of the house that would kind of like just change it up, change up the interior, because the interior is going to be super modern, going to be a lot of stone for sure, right? So having something that would be like just filled with greenery is going to be a good change. That's one thing, and then another thing, some of the other things that we obviously need, we need a bedroom, we need a kitchen. I would like a bar, because that would be like where you make your brew your potions and stuff like that. I want like a dining room, I want like a bathroom and a front yard, right? Stuff like that. Front yard, pretty much the entrance to the house. I'm not really sure what kind of design I want there yet, but it's all about just kind of figuring it out from there. These are some of the rough sketches I went for. As you can tell, it just looks like a huge mess, right? Now, given the space that I had, this is what I was kind of looking for. We would have like a main living space here, where we store like most of this stuff. And then upstairs we would have a bedroom with a patio overlooking the distance. And then this part of the main space would transition out into an upper smaller patio space that's overlooking the space, and then you have like a bridge like this that would take you over to the pool area. Now the pool area is up here, right? So this is the bridge up here, and then which would be like this thing right here. You arrive to this part, and then it would take you to a pool. You can also go downstairs and you go down to like a hot tub space, and then you can exit the door out here, and then it would be like lit up, and then you can enter into the beach from here. And then finally, we got ourselves a front view of the house. This is kind of like the frontal view, because like back there, like all this is like back, right? This is like the back side. The front door is on the opposite side of this main building. So on the front building, this is kind of like what I wanted at the front. I would have like a few thin windows. You got the main front door here, some decorations on the side. The X's for me are kind of like the green parts, like lands, like I'm planning to put like bushes and stuff to make it look a little bit more green and break out the color. And then outside, this is the front yard. You got a little roundabout here for the cars, or just a pathway, a roundabout pathway. And then, it would be surrounded by like flowers or something, or hedges maybe. So this is kind of like the approach that I'm going for. And just kind of simplified a little bit more. This is the entrance, right? This is the entrance to the house. Takes you to the main room. The stairs would take you up to the patio slash open kitchen area. And then you have the bridge crossing the river, take you to the pool area, which you can also use which you can use the stairs to access the beach. So I mean, these are all just like pretty rough sketches, right? And then when I was talking about planning, this is like basically the full extent of the planning that I had. So I'm just gonna jump right in, right? And I'm gonna build the foundation right now, and you guys can just watch me go through it. So let's just jump right in. So right here, I'm just gonna be clearing out some of the grass to build the basic foundation of the floors for the house. Nothing much to it. I'm just speed clearing, as you can tell, just to clear up the grass to create a flat surface. And then over here, I'm gonna be building the basic floor foundations for the upper patio space. As you can tell, I'm just using a lot of white concrete because it doesn't really matter too much what block I'm gonna be using, as I can always change it up later on. I think quartz is also a pretty good alternative to the white concrete. It really depends on your taste. But right now, I'm not really gonna think too much about the specific materials that I'm going to be using. The main thing here that I'm doing is just building the foundation based on the sketches that I've had. So right here I'm building the lower section that's also the main part of the house, that's going to comprise of the dining room as well as the bedroom upstairs. So here I am working on some of the later parts as well. This is the swimming pool and hot tub section of the house. Again, I'm really not going to get too detailed in terms of the overall structure of the house. As you can tell, everything is very rectangular and blocky and pretty straightforward. Nothing very detailed, as you can tell. I'm just using the white concrete blocks to draw out the basic lines, which I'll then later on kind of detail and add some curvatures and stuff like that later on. Right now, the important thing is just to have a good understanding for the sections of the house that will be defined by the lines, and then work on each section one at a time. Building on a foundation like this really helps you figure out how tall everything is going to be, and you can always adjust it later on as well. And then over here, I just finished the basic design for the front door, mainly because it's going to be the face of the house. And so just after I finish the foundation, I think I'm going to be working on the front door the most, and basically the frontal face of the house, because that's going to be a very important part to make sure your house looks good and presentable. And so right here, I'm working on the upper floors of the main section of the house, where the bedroom and the outdoor patio is going to be. The foundations are always going to be very useful when it comes to working on the house later on. However, it's all very subject to change. But despite that, it certainly helps a lot to have a guide. Alright, so I think this is kind of like the general framing for how I kind of think I would want the modern house to look like. It doesn't look quite as nice as I expected, but I think at the end of the day, it's mainly just because I've been kind of just building the general structure with the white concrete blocks. Once I kind of clean it up and replace it with different materials, I think it'll look a lot nicer. Right now, it still looks pretty amateurish, I think. Everything is still very blocky and rectangular, but basically, this is what we got so far. And then I'm gonna come back next day and I'm gonna clean it up a little bit to make sure all the externals, and to really finish up the external structure. So yeah, that's it for today. So I'm decorating some of my windows with some wooden stairs right now. I find that wood and also just brown in general is a good way to complement a lot of modern houses, mainly because of the fact that there's a lot of white and black going around in the house. And right here I'm working on the lighting for the house just to make sure that there aren't any mobs spawning at the front door if you play this in survival. And so right here, I'm using a particular stair design that I found during my research that I thought looked pretty good. And I'm basically gonna try to apply it in a Minecraft scenario. Basically, you have your main stairs right here, and as you go up, you have all these nice little holes with light shining in. I imagine this staircase would look pretty nice if there's ray tracing. Right now I'm adding a little bit of greenery to the house, as this house mainly comprises a lot of white and black and stone and brown. And so having some green and other flowery colors will also be a really good addition to break up and just make things look a little bit more interesting and bring a bit more life to the house. I just finished a basic waterfall design with stone, but it is at this point where I discovered the use of deep slate and other 1.17 blocks. And it's at this point where I'm debating if I should replace the stone with deep slate, which is going to dramatically improve my design. Right here I'm breaking up some of the lines and walls for the patio section of the house. Using concrete and wood like this is definitely a really good way to add depth and break up the normally flat and rectangular nature of the modern houses. And so this is definitely something that you want to try to emulate as well. And here I am just building a basic floor design to section off different parts of the house, so that's going to help me out later on when I work on the interiors. It helps to do a little bit of basic interior design such as this while working on the exteriors, just to have a little bit of guidance for the future. Now right now I'm building a sliding door that'll take you out to the patio, just to make it a little bit more realistic, since a lot of these interior spaces that lead out to the patio can also be closed up later on. So I'm using a lot of black glass right now to create that sliding door effect, as you can tell. So right here, I'm building a diagonal design, a diagonal support design for the patio. I originally had a totally rectangular design that was just gonna go all the way down to the river, but I felt like having something diagonal like this makes the house look a little bit more contemporary and a little bit more interesting, as most modern houses in Minecraft tend to be highly rectangular. Now here I am just working on the patio once again, a little bit of interior design, but not too much, as this is not the main focus of the project currently, but I'm just doing a little bit just to get a feel for what I want. And here I am just lining carpets on the roof. Carpet is pretty good for adding just a little bit of depth and a little bit more detail to your homes. I'm pretty much done the basic exteriors for the patio section as well as the main section of the house. All that's left is just the bridge and the pool, but I don't think I actually have my recordings for those. I didn't record as I was building those, and so we're just gonna leave off of this, and then the next part you're gonna see is a fully completed version of the house. Alright, so it's been about 2 weeks, right? And it's kind of taken me a while to finish this house, mainly because I've been kind of slacking off. So let's just do a house tour first to just have a look at everything. And then afterwards, I'm gonna give you guys the key tips that you want to take away to have a little bit more success when you're building your own modern houses. So let's just go inside and have a look, right? So this is the living room, right? This is like, well, it's not really the living room. It's kind of like the main home space, right? You got like this formal dining area with all this interior design and a good window looking out like this, like bam, look at that. And then you got the lamp, you got this glass chandelier, you know, looking pretty good, looking fresh. You got the wall design. Got all these storage chests and everything. This is a survival house, by the way. I designed the interiors and everything so that you can actually play survival in this mansion. You know, you got an axolotl here, you got enchanting tables, you got the cartography, you got some more chests. You got a little bit of everything basically, right? You got some more glass chandeliers. Very happy with all this stuff. And then over here you got like a little lounge area just to relax with your friends if you just want to 420 blaze it, you know what I mean? Fireplace over there, chilling, all this sort of stuff. That's it for the main space. As you can tell, it looks very nice. And then you go up here, you gotta overlook it again, you know, damn. Okay, over here, got ourselves a bedroom, modern house bedroom right here. Pretty simple stuff, right? Just using the 1.17 once again. Not much to really say about this. This is kind of like basically a 360 view if you open this door. You got like the aircon right here. These are just loops, but it kind of looks like aircons, you know what I mean? So we open up over here, and then this is our first patio, right? This is our bedroom patio. You got the glass, everything. You get a look out like this, and you got the mountains like this. Ooh, look at all that view. Let me just switch it to sunrise so you can see what I mean, all right? Looks very nice. let's just sit on a chair. So that's pretty much like the main living space as well as the bedroom, right? But that's not all. So once you move up the stairs like this, you got these stairs around here just to get that stony, the modern vibes, right? And you go up like this, boom, patio space. Look at all that, right? Very open. You got an open kitchen right here with pretty much all the survival things that you need. You got furnace, you got smoker, you got blast furnace, you got some barrels for more storage, and then just some decorations and a little bit more decorations. This is like the casual dining space. You got a bunch of paintings. You can put like a map here if you want, you know what I mean? Like a little bit of everything, a lounge space. Once again, if you want to just chill with your friends right here, relax, pretty good stuff. Got the lighting up here just to keep everything light up. Got the bar here, this is where you make your potions, right? Look at all that. Crafting table, you know, the most critical part of survival, you got it right there. And then patio space. I didn't really put anything here just because I want to keep it open here. And then this is our bamboo bridge. Very nice and cute, taking us over to the water portion of the build. Now over at this building, look at the amethyst. Ooh. So this is a jumping board right here. You can jump out like this and you fly right into the ocean. Pretty fun stuff. Pretty nice little diving board. And then this is the infinity pool. Now, the really good thing about this infinity pool is that, you know, you can kind of look down like this, you know, you can look out here, you can look out here, and then you can even relax on the edge like this and not fall off, you know what I mean? My favorite thing about these patios is that they're all slanted. As you can tell, they're not rectangular little things that stick out. And then over here, you go downstairs. This is our hot tub room. Very rocky, very stony vibes, you know. There's a lot of deep slate, a lot of marble and everything. A lot less wood, right? But still everything looks pretty nice and detailed, all that. You can look out the window like this. And then you can walk out. The lighting on the sides, surround on both sides, you know. And then it takes you out to an open beach. Just a wild open beach that you can relax. So that is pretty much just a tour of the house. Looks very good, right? Okay, so let's just jump right into the tips after I drink some water. Let's just talk about some tips first, right? For the exterior, and then we're gonna go into the interior, and then finally I'll talk about like kind of like the landscaping stuff that you want to do at the front of your house to keep everything looking fresh. So for the exterior, one of the biggest things is having one or two primary structural blocks that you can use to basically build the framework of your home. So like, for example, with this house, the main building block I was using to build like most of this stuff is quartz. And then I would have like deep slate as like a complementary thing. So for example, this bridge, most of the framing and the supports and everything is quartz, right? And then the supporting parts, just to make it look good, and also kind of counting as a building part, would be the deep slate. Sometimes it would also be the gray concrete that would be breaking up a lot of the color and lines in the home, right? For example, this window is lined out by quartz and the black concrete. This is like pretty important because it really helps with figuring out what block you would want to use for just generally when you're building, just to kind of keep things consistent and make it easier to figure out like which materials to use for the exterior. Now, the next thing to kind of make things pop out and actually make it look good is to avoid keeping a lot of your walls like super flat. And the solution to that, one of the things that has really helped me, at least, is once I kind of built the initial frame with your main block, which is the quartz in this example, you kind of figure out where you want your windows to be, right? So, for example, I knew that I wanted this to be like a giant one big window, but that looks too plain, right? And so the kind of solutions that you want to think about is like, okay, do I want to use wooden decorations like these to break up the window to make it look not just like one rectangular blob, or do I want to use a line of concrete to kind of like physically cut it in half? It will be like the precursor to building that depth. Because for example, once I have the things, once I have the concrete line out and stick out of the wall like this to cut up the window, then you can, okay, well, like, do I add slabs here? Do I add stairs here? Do I add more concrete here to cut up the window even more? You know, for example, it all starts off with, okay, where do I want to put my windows and where do I want to put my walls? Once you figure out where you want to put your windows, how do I cut it up with these lines, cut it up and then connect them. And then next thing you know, you have a bit more depth for your exteriors and your walls and everything, so it's not all super flat. Sometimes you want to put in decorations like these for the stairs, you know, just to have it pop out. and then it just kind of goes from there. It's all inspiration, one step at a time. That's why it's taken me 2 weeks, because when I built this house, I had just the initial framework and I had some sketches, and then that was pretty much it. I didn't really know for sure what materials I was gonna use. Like I was like, okay, I'm probably gonna use concrete and quartz, right? Like that's like a given. I'm probably gonna use wood. I'm probably gonna use gray concrete. But even then, it's like I didn't really know specifically how I would want to build the depth in the house. And you can kind of plan that out if you want, but for me, like I had that initial frame, and then a lot of the questions were just kind of answered as I was building. So that's kind of like the exterior stuff. And for the interior stuff, the biggest thing for me was just to physically build out a floor plan that works, right? So for example, I had, because like the interiors here, I had like these deep slate pillars, I would have the deep slate go around the entire room like this, across the room. Originally it was around, but anyways, I would have it go across, and then at the inner border I would have like the cobble deep slate, and then it would be like wood rest of the way. And then afterwards I would like cut it up so then I could like kind of just physically section off areas of like where I want certain things to be. Then it becomes a lot easier to sort of figure it out, right? Same thing with the ceiling. Once you figure out your floor plans, your ceiling plans in terms of the decoration also becomes a little bit more straightforward, because it's like this part lines up with this perfectly, right? And then it's like, okay, you know, that's it. You know, a better example of this is, for example, up here in the patio room, where I cut off this part of the floor with deep slate because I knew I wanted this part to be a kitchen area. I wanted this part to be like some additional thing. But once I cut everything off, it becomes, the space becomes from like, okay, where do I put the kitchen across this entire room, to like, okay, I know the kitchen's gonna be here, and then I'm gonna put something else here. And then that's how I figured out, okay, I'm gonna put the casual dining here. You know what I mean? And then I cut up this part on the ground with deep slate once again to figure out, okay, like where do I want to, I had ideas for like a patio lounge of some sort, and I wanted a bar, right? These are kind of things I had in mind ahead of time, and I was like, okay, where do I want to put them? And then you would determine that by first sectioning off your floor plans, right? First figuring out your floor plan, then it becomes very straightforward. Then you just build to fill in the space. You fill in this space, you fill in that space. This is the space. You fill in this one, right? Fill in this space. And then over here, you got this part left. Fill in this space. You know, don't worry too much about the specific materials you would want to use. Like you don't have to like figure out, okay, like I want to go for polish into cobble into polish into cobble and have it like alternate around a board like this at the start. Just like put something down first, you know? Like for example, you know your deep slate is going to be your decorative supporting block. Use that to line everything out first, and then later on figure out specifically like, okay, do I want to use quartz here or do I want to use calcite here? It's like set everything up first and then detail it later. At the end of the day, it all comes down to structuring. For the exterior, draw the framework. Use one as your main block, and then have another one as like a supporting, potentially main, but most of the time would be like your supporting block to complement. Then, for your interiors, build out your interiors first, and then detail everything last, right? You want to finish your exteriors first, then move into your interiors, then detail it, one section at a time, and then, you know, that's it, right? So that's it for the interior stuff. And the last thing is for the landscaping. Now you can do a lot of stuff for the landscaping, so I don't really have any specific tips, but I mean, I can just kind of walk you guys through some of the stuff that I did. So I had a little roundabout here, and I had some plants in the middle to kind of keep everything nice and, you know, just kind of like this, like your front yard landscaping, right? And on the side, I got like these little hedges right here. Look pretty good, using a little bit of 1.17. Look at this floor design, looking pretty good. You know, stuff like that. Just a little generic pond here to break up the space. And you know, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys are happy with this modern house build. This is kind of a good way to finish off this world. I'm going to show you guys a little cool modern house cinematic, and then I'll see you guys in the next video where I'm going to do a survival series. I'll see you guys.